Studies have shown that 95% of all real estate agents recommend that their homeowners declutter. How do you do that? What does that mean? It's really not an offensive word. It's a true positive word that will ultimately help you get your property sold faster, and it will help your property look cleaner, bigger, brighter, and in the end, it will get your buyer to really visualizing themselves in your home. And if we've never met before, my name is Anita Cordell, and I make videos about all things Kansas City. And also, I am a licensed real estate agent and a team lead of the Yellow Brick Group, and we help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest right here in our amazing city. Why? Because there's no place like home. Now, if you're watching this, I would love to have you write in the comments. Comment below so that people can listen to some of the things that you have had to say about decluttering. Also in the description below is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you with your real estate goals. There's even a Calendly link. It goes right to my calendar, and we can set up a consultation for me to help you with your real estate goals. If you are on the side of wanting to sell your home and you're watching this video and you don't live in Kansas City, that's okay. You can watch this video, and hopefully some of the things that I talk about today regarding decluttering and why it's so important will help you in your endeavors to sell your home. And by the way, no matter where you're at, if you're in Washington or you're in Virginia or Texas or even in Canada and other countries, if you need a real estate agent, no matter where you're at, I would love to help you be your resource to find somebody to help you out wherever you're at. In the midst of all of that, I'm going to talk about decluttering today and why that is so important when you are trying to sell your home. The first question is, why do I need to declutter? One of the most important things when you're getting your property on the market is the pictures. And we want to make sure that all of your pictures and all of your online presence is as effective and professional as possible. But when you hire a professional to come in, they will often even give tips on, hey, move this somewhere, move this over here. And it just gives a lot more to work with when it comes to the photography. What is more effective, decluttering a property or just moving everything out and letting it be vacant? Well, it's always better to have some staging in your house, but when it comes to why it's important photography-wise, it makes your rooms look bigger when you move things out of the property. Another reason why agents want the home sellers to declutter their home is the fact that it makes your house look more inviting, because when you have so many things, then a buyer will come into the property and they will see all of your belongings. What it will do is that it'll give them the eye of how you've decorated and how you've staged your home. Also, when you declutter, it almost provides a blank slate for when your buyers come in and they're able to visualize their stuff in the property versus just still trying to get past your own. Now, when it comes to the word clutter, when you look at it from this perspective of decluttering, all that really means is putting away the things that you love and adore and just making room for those buyers to come in. It doesn't mean that you have all of these things that are needing to be thrown away. That's not at all what we're saying. So all it means is just starting to go ahead and pack away your belongings and get those things put into storage or in your basement. All that decluttering means. It's a positive word if you look at it from that standpoint. Now, there are some positive benefits to decluttering. I'll give you a personal example. I went into a property and we were working on doing some remodeling and wanted to get to a place where we could get it staged appropriately for the sale of the home. Originally, when I went through and started pointing things out to them to go ahead and pack away, I could tell that they were emotionally attached to those items. So I have to be really careful when I go into a property and say, go ahead and remove this, go ahead and remove this. It's not that we don't like those things, it's just there's probably too many of those wonderful things in a given room. We want to just move those away. Well, I was working with this client and she started packing things away and doing her own decluttering and would put away the things that I asked her to put away. And towards the end, she told me, oh my goodness, I love this and I think I'm going to donate more things when we move into our house. As I worked with them through the decluttering process and staging, she actually really liked it. So you might actually enjoy a new minimalistic feel if you start to declutter as well. So the question is, how do I declutter for staging? So there are multiple different ways that you can declutter for staging. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there. There's also books on staging. There is a staging book that I absolutely love, and I can put the link down in the description below so that you can have access as well. Now let's talk about shelves. When we are talking about shelves in like an office space, whether it be built-ins, currently speaking, a lot of times people will use them for books and movies and things that you use some of the time. So what you want to do is remove at least 50% of all the stuff that's on your open shelves. If you reduce it down and take off all of that, then you will be surprised at how open and big your shelves are going to look. So then what you do is you utilize the shelf for really just only display things. When you take your pictures, you will be surprised at how busy your shelves are going to look if you keep them the way they are. That'll be the big step for you to do. Now, when you are staging your open shelvings, here's a few things that you don't want to do. First of all, you don't want to use your open shelving for storage. You want to use it only for things that are going to make it look good and good for pictures. My personal opinion is a few knickknacks and collectibles are okay on open shelving, but if you ask a professional stager to come in, they're probably going to have you remove all of them. However, when you remove 50% of that, that means that there might be open shelves that are empty. Don't feel like you have to fill them with things. You can actually leave those open shelves, a few of them empty and not have anything on them. When you are staging or putting together things on your shelves, make sure that the colors complement each other. So if you have dark wood, then don't put dark things on your shelves. Don't forget the greenery. I'm telling you how important greenery is. Whether they're fake plants or live plants, obviously live plants are going to be a little more attractive and they just add something to the vibe, but don't forget the greenery. If you have no windows in a room, still go ahead and add some fake plants to it. It's so important to have that positive energy in the home. Another thing that you can do is add baskets to your open shelving. It adds balance and warmth to the area. Not just baskets, but other textured things. A lot of framed pictures are definitely something that you want to do when you are staging and prepping an open shelf. Now, it's probably really overwhelming to think that you've got to go through every single room and start to declutter. The biggest thing that you can do to help with your peace of mind is to schedule a staging plan. Basically, you have a staging calendar. What I typically will do is advise my sellers to divide up their home into certain areas. And if there is a room in their house that has a whole lot of things that need to be decluttered, you want to start with that one first, in my opinion. If you start with the hardest one first, then you'll feel so accomplished and you'll be able to grab that momentum, and the rest of the house is going to be super easy. There are times where I will put together a plan for a homeowner and I will give them a generalistic idea of how much time it's going to take. However, when they start to get into the process of it, it takes a lot longer than what someone would anticipate. So make sure that you have a schedule that's realistic and that you are planning it out with your agent and that you have an idea of all the things that you need to do. This is how I did it when I moved this last time. So I put together a box in every single room. And then when I walked through that room, I would get inspired and say, okay, I am fully okay with taking this out. And there would be a box right there and I would grab the packing or the wrap or the paper, wrap it all up, put it in the box and move on to the next room. And I found that if I had a goal to do at least one box a day while I was moving, it reduced my anxiety, if you will. I was able to actually get more done, and it was so helpful to do those little tips. Just have an empty box in every single room, and then as you walk through your house, grab things and put it in it. Now, another tip about decluttering is if you do decide to work on only a specific area in your house, go ahead and have all of the moving supplies in that area so that they're easily accessible. You don't have to go and find them, and that they're always there and never leave that spot. It helps sellers know where all of the things are when they're trying to move. Now, according to the Staging Secrets book that I'm referencing, she gives an example of breaking out your property into different zones. And maybe this will work for you, maybe it won't. It probably would not work for me, but I'm gonna give you those zones and let you decide what's good for you. So she says zone 1 would be the front hall, the living room, and the dining room. Zone 2 is the kitchen and the bathrooms. Zone 3 is the primary suite and guest room. Zone 4 is the family room and the office. Zone 5 is the kids' room. And Zone 6 is the basement rec room, laundry room, and storage. This specific example that she uses in her book is just one example of a homeowner who took the time to divide up the house into different zones. This person actually in her book works full-time, and she told the story of this individual and how she was working and packing away, and once a week she would take the things to storage or to donate. If you have a system set up like that to declutter, then it will make your life a whole lot easier. The key is to finding a system that works good for you so that when you are decluttering, you're not only taking the time to remove all of the things that need to be done and packing it away, but you also have a schedule on how to do it, when to do it, and to make sure that it is done effectively so that you stay on task to get your home on the market as quick as you possibly can. Let's talk about specific rooms in the house and what you can do to declutter those specific rooms. We are going to talk about the entryway first. So in the entryway, there's usually at least one hall closet or coat closet. What you want to do is remove about 50% of the coats, because what's the worst thing when you're opening up a coat closet or a buyer comes in and looks at the closet, if it is stuffed full of coats, that buyer's not gonna, it's gonna be kind of a negative feel or negative vibes. When it comes to coat racks that are in your entryway or in your foyer, some stagers say that you should take the coats and everything off of the racks and let the racks be completely bare. I am okay with putting a few items on those coat racks, especially if they're used primarily for staging. So I did that on a listing. It was super cute. We just hung a few things on their coat racks and it worked. You decide what opinion you have on your coat racks if you have coat racks. Then in the foyer, you're also going to want to remove furniture. You'll want to make sure that if there's something that's bulky, or remove completely any kind of rugs. Now let's move to the living room. How do you stage a living room? You want to look at your rugs, and if there's any throw rugs that are really old, you want to just discard them and even replace if you can. As far as furniture is concerned, make sure that you remove some of your furniture. Now when it comes to removing furniture throughout the house, one of the things that I do is I will go through the house and put little note cards on people's furniture if they need that piece of furniture removed. And that way, if the movers come in or they have family coming in, if there's a post-it note on that piece of furniture, they know to have that removed. Now there are some pieces of furniture that absolutely are adorable or you have an emotional tie to. What I would do is look at your bulky things first. If you have a huge armoire that doesn't really match the rest of the vibe in the room, go ahead and remove it. And if there's something that's really tall as well, go ahead and remove that. Another thing to do when you are choosing which furniture to leave in your house, choose the light colors over the dark colors. That makes your room look airy and bright. So just make sure that it's not too heavy of a feel. So preference would be to leave the light colored furniture in your house. I personally love glass top tables. And the reason why is because it actually makes your room look a little bit bigger because you can see through. And also too, it just makes your room look a little more homey and modern. Now, if you are trying to declutter your property and doesn't have the best furniture for you to use for staging, I would recommend checking into renting or borrowing furniture. There's a lot of companies that are out there, and I'm sure also if you don't have it in your budget to rent furniture, see if there's any family members that have some furniture in their storage unit that would be perfect for your property when you're staging when it comes to furniture. Let's move to the dining room, which is where I'm sitting here. A lot of times people wonder about the valances. If there is heavy drapery in dining rooms, I don't know if it's just a common thing when people build their houses, they like heavy drapery in dining rooms. Go ahead and remove those heavy draperies. Now, I have a china cabinet behind me, and this china cabinet is passed down in my family. And I were to put my house up on the market, I would probably remove about half the stuff in this china cabinet, try and take the top part of it off, because it actually opens up your dining room and it keeps the room continually looking bigger. Now let's move to the kitchen. When I'm helping people stage a kitchen, one of the very first subjects that we talk about are the kitchen counters. And what I typically will tell people is to only have about 4 or 5 things on your kitchen counter when it comes to staging and when it comes to getting your house on the market. I usually try and help them decide which 4 or 5 things. Some easy things to know and to put away initially are big serving trays that you don't use, nice dishes that you're not really using on a daily basis, and then small appliances. One of the questions I get asked is, can I leave my dish drainer on the counter? My answer is no. Take and put the dish drainer and put it underneath the sink. And if you don't have a dishwasher and you hand wash all of your dishes, just make sure that you put it away every single time. Another question that I get asked often is, will the buyers look through my kitchen cabinets and my kitchen drawers? The answer is yes. They will. Go ahead and start putting away things that are in your drawers, decluttering those. The more organized that you can be within your drawers, the better off you're going to be, because it's going to look like you have a lot of space in your home. That's the same thing with the cabinets as well. Another thing that I like to help people stage are cabinets that have glass doors. The idea is to use that cabinet as something that's decorative. Move around the things and put something bright and colorful behind those glass doors. It does give a great aesthetic to your eye when you're taking pictures and when people are coming into your kitchen. Let's talk about the tops of cabinets. There are times when I walk into a kitchen and that top space is used for storage. Take all of that down. It will only make your space look bigger. Now, I'm okay if you put some greenery up, some fake ivy, and maybe some candlesticks that will cause it to look more decorative and look staged. Very minimal things are above the cabinets. That's what you want your buyer to feel. On the fridge door, you want to remove all magnets and personal items. Kitchen table can have maybe one simple decorative item. Garbage can, if you can hide it, put it away. Now let's talk about the family room and the rec room and any other extra rooms that are in your house. Make sure that the furniture is light in color, just like the furniture in your living room. Usually in this space, there's a lot more personal items, so make sure that you remove your personal photos. People ask me all the time, how many photos of my family should I leave up? There are some stagers and some agents that say to remove all of them. I'm okay if you leave a few, because it tells a story and it makes the vibe of how much you've loved this home. That is something that you really want to take down and only be very minimalistic when it comes to family photos. This is another part of the family room and rec rooms that tend to be a little harder to do, and that's remotes. And when you've got movies and when you've got all kinds of games sitting out, you need to remove all of that stuff. Make sure that it is put away. Try and find a place to where that people are not feeling like they're infringing upon your family time, and just make sure that it is inviting for them without a lot of your own personal things. Tidying up any wiring. So a lot of times people have speakers throughout the room and they have a big TV and all kinds of things that make this room almost theatrical, tidied up or pre-packed. All right, bedrooms. One of the things that is pretty common here in Kansas City is exercise equipment in your home. Some people have their exercise equipment in a garage or in an office space. What happens is, if you have exercise equipment in those locations, it can sometimes make that room feel like it's cluttered and has too many pieces of furniture in it. But if you've got minimal space and it doesn't feel real open and airy and spacious, I would definitely remove it. Or what I've had some people do is go ahead and make a little space in their garage with all of their exercise equipment, and then they'll put it into there. So it can give people ideas on what to do when it comes to moving around exercise equipment. You definitely want to keep it out of your room if possible. Let's talk about the closet. Your bedrooms, especially the master bedroom, can be a lot bigger than just a guest bedroom's closet. So you'll definitely want to tidy it up, especially if there's not breathable room between the hangers. Definitely move and put all of that stuff in storage. Make sure that the bottom of your closet is tidied up. There's not any boxes, there's not any stacks of clothing, there's not any totes, all of that. Just remove all of that from your closet. Now, when it comes to closets, the easiest thing you can do is just pack away any out of season clothes, and it'll make it a lot easier for you. In children's rooms, if they have a gaming area or they have a little desk area, always make sure those are tidied up. And if you can pack away all of that, go ahead and do it. We're on to the office. How do you declutter an office? Well, first of all, you've got a desk. Make sure that your desk is cleared off. My desk, I'm a creative side of my brain a lot of times, and so my desk is very cluttered a lot of the time. But when it comes to staging and getting your house ready for sale, you'll want to clear that whole thing off. Also in offices, it seems to me that there's a lot of wires, and rightfully so, because we've got internet or we've got printers that need to be plugged in, we've got extension cords. However, try and at least cover up all of the wiring. Cover it up as best as you possibly can so that it doesn't look like you're in a garage workspace. And lastly, you'll probably want to remove any diplomas or any personal items. I'll repeat this, it's about comfort as well. I mean, if you are comfortable leaving up a few personal items, then I personally am an agent that is okay with some of that. If a buyer walks in and you don't know them, it's okay to just take your personal things down so that you don't disclose much of who you are, right? As far as bathrooms are concerned, people ask me all the time what they can leave out on a bathroom counter. The answer is pretty much nothing. If you can remove pretty much everything off of your bathroom countertop, that would be ideal. Don't leave out your toothpaste, your hairbrushes, your makeup. Put it all away underneath your sink, somewhere to where that it's easily accessible, but it's not out for other people to see. All right, here's another thing that you should get rid of, and that's toilet covers. Yes, toilet covers, get rid of them, please. They're gross. You don't even know what's on them. You don't want people to walk in and feel like your house is outdated. So just remove it. Out the door. Now you might have a small bathroom and you're probably wondering what to do with all these things, but here's some more things to hide. If you can hide your garbage can, your toilet brush, hide that. If they can get underneath your sink, great. If they can't, then put them in a linen closet in the back or what have you. But I would hide all of those things if you possibly can. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you are able to get some tips on how to stage your property by decluttering. And as always, go out and live your best Kansas City life.